It's my very great pleasure this afternoon to welcome you all to the Trades and Apprenticeship Awards presentation and barbecue for 2012. My name is Stephen Spears, and I'm one of the chairs of Trades and Apprenticeship here at Conestoga College.
And the recipient is
Jerome. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my very great pleasure this afternoon to welcome you all to the Trades and Apprenticeship Awards presentation and barbecue for 2012. My name is Stephen Spears, and I'm one of the chairs of Trades and Apprenticeship here at Conestoga College. This afternoon, we have 100 awards and bursaries to present and or announce, and those awards are going to total over $46,000 this afternoon. This represents a significant increase in both the number of awards and the value of the awards distributed last year, and I think it's an incredible endorsement by industry supporting the students that we have in our technical division in Trades and Apprenticeship at this particular college. I'd also like to make note of the fact and thank Don Marks. Don is here with the Ontario Industrial Roofers Contractors Association, and we're actually in Don's building. This is the Roofing Trade Center. So welcome, Don, and thanks for letting us use the building.
Good afternoon. Certainly it's interesting, and I'm really excited to be here not only with our leaders of our various trades and apprenticeships in our communities, but also our future leaders. And I think that's what a lot of these students and apprentices that will be receiving awards today because of their hard work and their leadership qualities, 15 to 20 years from now, they'll be down there sitting where you are now. So we're really excited about this. So to begin the Motive Power Awards, the first one is the Motive Power Fundamentals Awards, the Automotive Service Award, presented by Kevin Bell and Dave Becky, the AST Automotive Service Technician Consortium Chair, and the donor is Crosby Volkswagen Audi Incorporated, and the recipient is Matthew Humbug. The next award is to the top student for practical, and the donor is Britain Auto Parts, Napa. The recipient, Christian Schmal. The next award is for the most improved student, academic award, and the donor is Central Auto Supply Limited, and the recipient is Michael Winlow. The next Motive Power Award, Top Student Award. This award is presented to the top academic student in Automotive Service Technician Apprenticeship Level 3, and the donor is Mac Tools, and it will be presented by Richard Dawson, and the recipient is John Brower. The next award in this category is the Motive Power Fundamentals Motorcycle and Power Sport Vehicles. The donor is Matt's Motorcycles, and it will be presented by Matt Lowry, one of the Motive Power faculty. And it's contribution to the Learning Environment Award, and the recipient is Tom Leach. Matt's unable to be here today, so Stephen will present on Matt's behalf. The next award in the Motive Power Fundamentals Motorcycle and Power Sports Vehicle, the Student Mentor Award, and the recipient is Bob Davison. Next, we have the TrailCon Leasing Trailer Service Technician Scholarship. This award is presented to a student registered in the Motive Power Fundamentals who has achieved a minimum academic average of 70% in the truck and coach, truck trailer portion of the program. And the recipient is Jonathan Schuster. The next award is the Glasgow Great Dane Truck Trailer Service Technician Scholarship. These awards are presented to the 2 students who have achieved the highest overall averages in the truck and coach truck trailer portion of the Motive Power Fundamentals program. The donor is OTA Educational Foundations, presented by Betsy Sharples of the OTA Education Foundation. Recipients are Chris Hutchinson and Travis Charters. The next 3 awards are presented to top students in the Motive Power Fundamentals Truck and Coach International Technical Education Program, known as ITEP or ITEP. Navistar Canada Top Student Award. This award is presented to a full-time student in Conestoga's Motive Power Fundamentals Truck and Coach International Technical Education Program. The student must have successfully completed Navistar modules on international technical processes and procedures, be an outstanding team player and assume a leadership role among his or her peers, exude a positive attitude and commitment, seek innovative ideas and solutions. The donor is Navistar Canada, presented by Ted Van Heuvel and Lucien Godin, and the recipient is Kyle Moulton. The next one in this category is the ITEP Program Advisory Committee Peer Award. The donor is ITEP PAC members, and the recipient is Jeffrey Austin. The next ITEP Program Advisory Committee is for the Most Improved Student Award. The donor, again, is the ITEP PAC members, presented by Jake Francis, the PAC chair, and the recipient is Ken McConnell. The next 5 awards are presented to top students in Motive Power Fundamentals Truck and Coach based on their marks, class participation, and leadership skills. Transportation Maintenance Technology Association Top Student Award. The donor is the Transportation Maintenance and Technology Association, presented by Jake Francis, also representing TMTA, and the recipient is Andy Mozades. The next award is the All Truck Scholarship. The donor is All Truck International Truck Centers. It's presented by Jaspal Kumar of All Truck International Truck Centers. The recipient is Ryan Hughes. We do have 250 chairs and a lot of people standing, so that, I think, is indicative of the support that we garner. The next award in this category of the top students in Motive Power Fundamentals is the Great Canadian Holidays and Coach Incorporated Award. The donor is Great Canadian Holidays and Coaches. It's presented by Scott Lennox of Great Canadian Holidays and Coaches and Holidays, and the recipient is Brad Allen. The next award is the Truck and Coach Consortium Peer Award. The donor is Highway Sterling, Western Star, and Challenger Motor Freight, presented by Mark Godlick, Highway Sterling and Western Star, and Chris Everson, Challenger Motor Freight, and the recipient is Mike Spearing. The next award is the Toromont Cat Dealer Excellence Fund Leadership Award. The donor is Toromont Cat, presented by Terry Harkness, and the recipient is Alexandra Kiss. The next 4 awards are presented to top students in the Truck and Coach Apprenticeship Level 3 based on their marks, class participation, and leadership skills. And the recipient is Ben Razlovsky. Yes, he is on stage. And we're going to ask Ben to stay on stage because Ben is Academic Achievement Award Level 3 block, which is the March-April block of 2012. The donor is Cummings Eastern Canada LP, presented by Robert Verdurm. The next is the Level 3 Block September-October of 2011 Academic Achievement Award. The donor is Manitoulin Transport, and it's presented by Mike Marshall, and the recipient is Austin Williams. And we'll ask Mike to stay on stage. And the Academic Achievement Award for the Level 3 Day Release. Donor is Manitoulin Transport, presented by Mike Marshall, and the recipient is Stephen McKay. The next award is the Toromont Cat Dealer Excellence Fund Top Academic Student Award, and the donor, Toromont Cat, presented by Terry. The program, Heavy Equipment Technician Apprenticeship, and the recipient is James Bazvik. Next award is the Carlos Camilio Memorial Safety Awards. Carlos Camilio was tragically killed on October 18th, 2001, when the hoisted bucket of a backhoe on which he was working collapsed and crushed him. The Camilio family initiated by Carlos Camilio Memorial Safety Awards in his memory. Funding for the awards come from the annual golf tournament. They are awarded to a student who exhibits superior attention to detail and knowledge of safety requirements in the workplace and provide leadership in this area to other students in the program. And the donor is Henry and Tony Camilio, who will be presented by Stephen Spears on behalf of the family. And the program in the Heavy Equipment Techniques, the recipient, Trevor Zach. Yeah. And we'll also ask Cassandra Catul from the Heavy Equipment Operator Program to come up and also receive one of the Carlos Camilio Memorial Safety Awards. And this ends the awards for the motive power sector of the college and of trade, so congratulations to all the recipients.
Just before we move on away from motive power, I would like to acknowledge the Princess Auto Foundation. Those folks have established an endowment for new motive power awards, and those awards will start in 2013. I'd like to ask Yves Savard to stand. Are you here? Thank you very much, Yves. The next sector we're going to make awards in is the construction sector, and we're going to start with the Dick Kapler Endowed Bursary. This award is presented to the student who has achieved a minimum overall average of 85% in the first 2 levels of in-class session, and who is enrolled in or has completed level 3 of the Brick and Stone Apprenticeship. The recipient will be going on to write their C of Q in the very near future. The winner must demonstrate an enthusiasm for the masonry trade, along with integrity, innovative thinking, and leadership skills. The presenter today will be Dick Kapler. The award was donated by Kapler Masonry Corporation, and the recipient is Keith Richards. Next, we have the Canadian Concrete Masonry Producers Association Awards. Masonry Fundamentals. This award is given to the student who graduated from the Masonry Fundamentals program with the highest overall average. The donor is the Canadian Concrete Masonry Producers Association. The award will be presented by Marina D'Souza, and the recipient is Ono Van Santen. We're going to ask that Marina stay on stage for some additional awards. Apprenticeship awards are next. Recipients must be registered as a full-time student in the Brick and Stone Masonry Apprenticeship Program and be a top apprentice. Again, presented by Marina D'Souza. And our recipient for the Brick and Stone Mason Apprenticeship Level 1 Award is Darren Kraus. For the Level 2 Apprenticeship, Tim Riemann. We have a second award for Level 2 Apprenticeship, James Pierce. James, by the way, won a bronze medal at the Ontario Technical Skills Competition just this past May 1st in Waterloo. Brick and Stone Level 3, Jeremy Dick is the recipient. Jeremy is not able to be here today, so Greg will accept on his behalf. And the other Level 3 Apprentice Award goes to Eric Wood. And Eric, again, is not able to be with us today, so Greg will accept on his behalf. Thank you. Next, we have the Top Student Award presented to a top student in Brick and Stone Apprenticeship Level 3. And this award is donated by the Canadian Equipment Outfitters. Will be presented by Frank Wojcicki. And the recipient is Ian Korvmaker. I apologize right up front if I butcher anybody's name. It's not intentional. And apparently, Frank was not able to be with us this afternoon, so Greg will present in his behalf. Next, we have the Holcomb Canada Entrance Scholarships. These awards are presented to students who are full-time students registered in a construction techniques program and who have obtained the highest overall averages in the masonry component of that program. And the awards will be presented by Mr. Richard Erdman of Dufferin Aggregates. And we have two recipients for these awards. The first, Mark Baer. And the second is Jordan Thompson. The next award is the Menno S. Martin Contractor Limited Bursary. This award is presented to a full-time student in year 1 of the Renovation Technician Program who demonstrates a minimum overall average of 75% following the midterm exam in the final academic semester. The student must also demonstrate the following qualities: team player, a caring individual who regularly contributes by helping his or her classmates, a positive attitude and a credit to the class, dedication to his or her studies, and a positive work ethic. The student must be eligible to advance into year 2 of the program at the end of the final semester of the first year. This bursary will be presented by Art Jansen, and the recipient is Jamie Pippi. The Waterloo Region Home Builders Association Award is next and is presented to a top Year 1 student in the Renovation Technician Program who is entering Year 2. This will be presented by Jamie Adam, the President, and Marie Schroeder, Executive Director of the WRHBA. Or maybe just Jamie. And the recipient is Jesse Thompson. Next is the Home Hardware Stores Limited Scholarship. The successful candidate must have successfully met all the requirements to graduate from the Renovation Technician Program and have achieved a very high overall average upon completion of the final year. The donor again is Home Hardware Stores Limited, will be presented by Doug Shantz, and the recipient is Nathan Presley. Next, we have the Lee Valley Tools Graduating Award, and this award is presented to a top renovation technician graduating student. It'll be presented by Mr. Mike Johnston, and the recipient is Thomas Gazelle. The Rona Achievement Awards. These awards are presented to students in the Women in Skilled Trades or Construction Techniques programs. The winners must show dedication to the academic studies, be an outstanding team player, contribute to the success of his or her program, and an individual that exudes a positive attitude and commitment. The presenter today is Randy Novak, and our recipient is Stephanie Clark for WIST. And Stephanie is not able to be here today, so Greg will accept on her behalf. And our second recipient of the Rona Achievement Award is Lori Quarry. Next, we have a Top Academic Student Award. This award is presented to the top academic student in Construction Techniques Carpentry program and is donated by the Bosch Power Tools Canada. It'll be presented by Daryl Hughes and Louis de Henstrosa. And the recipient is Adam Pereira. The next 5 awards are presented to top students in carpentry apprenticeship based on their marks, class participation, and leadership. The top student award for Level 3 carpentry apprenticeship is donated by Form and Build Supply, Inc., will be presented by Kevin McClinchy, and the recipient is Jeff Pies. If you leave that on the stage, it might not be here later. That's all I can tell you. We have a second Top Achievement Award for Level 3, and this is donated by Milwaukee Tools. Mike Cahan would be the presenter, and the recipient is Ed Burkholder. Unfortunately, Ed is not able to be here today. Greg will accept the certificate, and I'll accept any tools that go along with that.
Just have blue things up.
There we go.
Thanks, Ed. Top student in Level 2 apprenticeship, donated by Home Depot, presented by Laurie McGregor and Craig Ingram, or maybe just Laurie. And the recipient is Ian Hartman. I'm going to ask Laurie to stay on the stage because we also have a Top Student Level 1 award from Home Depot, and the recipient is Cody Crawford. We have another Chairs Cup Tournament Award, donated, of course, by the proceeds from the Chairs Cup Golf Tournament. I'm going to ask Greg to present to Jeff Moyer. At this point, well, yeah, we can switch if you like. Yeah.
Sure. This is you, right?
Yep.
Okay, right. Okay, Conestoga Heavy Construction Awards. These awards are given to the top students in the Heavy Equipment Operator Program. The donor is Conestoga Heavy Construction Association, presented by Paul Taylor, McLean Taylor Construction Limited. The Conestoga Heavy Construction Best Overall Student recipient is Tristan Miles. The Conestoga Heavy Construction Best Overall Operator recipient is Hooper Hadland. And the Heavy Construction Most Improved Through Perseverance recipient is Devin Perron. Devin is unable to be with us today, so Stephen will accept the award on his behalf.
The following 5 awards are presented to outstanding students in the plumbing program and the plumbing programs offered here at Conestoga. Mark Supply Inc. Plumbing Award is the first one, and that's for a Level 3 Apprenticeship Award. And that particular award will be presented by Brad Van Windenberg. Something like that. Sorry, Brad. Yeah. The recipient is Sarba Broderick. I'll ask Brad to stay on stage just for a moment. Mark Supply Inc. and the Canadian Institute of Plumbing and Heating Award, Level 3 Apprenticeship. There is a second award, and that goes to Joshua Voisin. Joshua, unfortunately, wasn't able to be here today, so I'll ask Brad to present that to Greg, who will accept on his behalf. Thanks, Brad. Milwaukee Tools Achievement Award, Level 3 Apprenticeship. Donator, of course, Milwaukee Tools, and that will be presented by Mike Cahan. And the recipient is Justin Van Dyken. That's a true apprentice. He reached for the tool first, certificate second. We have a top student award here, and the donor actually wished to remain anonymous, so I'm going to ask Greg to present this award. It is for the Mechanical Techniques Plumbing Program, and the recipient is Elvin Casco. We have another Chairs Cup Tournament Award, again for the Mechanical Techniques Plumbing Program, and Tyler Bolins is the recipient. I'll ask Greg to present. Next, we have the J.D. Walden Student Achievement Award. This award is given to a student registered in Conestoga's Roofer Apprenticeship Program who showed the greatest improvement while in school. The donor is J.D. Walden Fund, held by the Cambridge and North Dumfries Community Foundation, and will be presented by Jane Neath and Dave Walden. The recipient for Level 1 is Zachary Joy, and Zach is not able to be here today, so Greg will accept on his behalf. The Level 2 recipient is John Contini. This is, second time around for John.
Congratulations, John.
I'm going to ask our presenters to stay on the stage for a minute. Next, we have the J.D. Walden Scholarships, and these awards are given to a student registered in Conestoga's Roofer Apprenticeship Program who's achieved the highest overall marks. Recipient for Level 1 is Casey Nagzem. I know, I didn't get it right either, did I? No.
Congratulations, Casey.
And the recipient for the Level 2 scholarship goes to Aaron Winterholt. And not seeing Aaron, I think he's probably working today. I'll ask Greg to accept on his behalf. Thanks, guys. We have another Chairs Cup Tournament Award. This goes to a roofer apprenticeship, and I'll ask Greg to present to Robert Carroll. And we have a Most Improved Student Award donated by Charles Jones Industrial. It'll be presented by Dave Orsini to a student in the HRAC Technician Program. The recipient is Ryan Roberts. And to finish up the construction awards, we have the Bev Thring Bursary. This award has been established by the Zonta Club of Kitchener-Waterloo Foundation in memory of Bev Thring, a longtime member of the Zonta Club of Kitchener-Waterloo. These awards will assist women studying to enter a career in a non-traditional field. These awards are to be given to a student who meets the following criteria: be a female student who has successfully completed her first year of studies in a trades and apprenticeship diploma program, be enrolled as a full-time student in year 2 of a trades and apprenticeship program. These awards are going to be donated by Ann Patterson and Kathy Wordley. And the first award goes to a recipient in the renovation technician program, and that's Angela Norman. Unfortunately, Angela wasn't able to be with us this afternoon. I'll ask Greg to receive the award on her behalf. And the second recipient is coming from our electrical technician industrial program, and that recipient is Holly Downton. I get a little wood on the ball every once in a while. It's just luck. And those are your construction awards, ladies and gentlemen. Moving now to the industrial awards. We have an Academic Excellence Award for top marks, and this award is chosen by faculty for the student with the highest marks in the Electrical Technician Industrial and Electrical Technician Industrial Co-op programs. I'm going to ask Mark Schitzkowski to come up and present the award, please. The donor is in fact the Electrical Technician faculty, and the recipient is Jonathan Cummins. I'll ask Mark to stay up here for a couple more awards. We have a faculty award for dedication and leadership. These awards are chosen by faculty for the student in the Electrical Technician Industrial or Electrical Technician Industrial Co-op programs who show dedication and leadership during their program. The first recipient is Scott Duck. And our second recipient is Tariq Rabani. Tariq is not able to be here today, so Greg will accept the award on Tariq's behalf. Thanks, Mark. We have another Chairs Cup Tournament Award, and this one again will be presented by Greg White to a recipient in the Electrical Technician Industrial Program. The recipient is Spencer Halliday. And we have a recipient in the Electrical Technician Industrial Co-op program, and that would be Robert Grupp. The Milwaukee Tools Achievement Award goes to a Level 3 electrical apprentice, is of course donated by Milwaukee Tools and will be presented by Mike Cahan again. The recipient of the Level 3 award is Scott Leggett. Next, we have the SOA Tool and Machine Awards. These awards are presented to the top student in the Precision Metal Trades Apprenticeships at Conestoga College. The donor, of course, is SOA Tool and Machine, and will be presented by Barry Schwartz. In the General Machinist Apprenticeship program, the recipient is Matthew Cruz. For the Machine Tool Builder Integrator Apprenticeship, the recipient is Ian Gabriel. For the CNC Programming Apprenticeship, Brandon Schaus. And for the Tool and Die Maker Apprenticeship Award, the recipient is Terry Johnson. Terry can't be with us this afternoon, so Greg will accept on his behalf. Machining Faculty Awards. These awards are given to the top students in the Mechanical Technician, General Machinist, and Mechanical Technician Tool and Die Toolmaker programs. They are donated by the machining faculty, and they'll be presented this afternoon by Mr. Joe Van den Enden. The Machining Faculty Award First Place Student this year goes to a student in the Mechanical Technician General Machinist Co-op program, Devin Martin. Devin, by the way, won a silver medal at the Ontario Technical Skills Competition on May 1st. Oh, they want your picture. And a second first place student award goes to a student in the Mechanical Technician Tool and Die Toolmaker Co-op program, Nathan. Next, we have the Guelph Hydroelectric Systems, Inc., Rick Lane, Corey Bridgman Memorial Academic Grant. This award was created by Guelph Hydroelectric Systems, Incorporated in memory of Rick Lane and Corey Bridgman. To be eligible, students must be enrolled in a full-time program, year 2 of the Power Technician Co-op program, have successfully completed their first year of study with a minimum average of 70%, and no academic offenses, and be able to demonstrate financial need. The donor again is Guelph Hydro, and this award will be presented by Kazi Maruf, and the recipients, we have 2 of them, Tyler Poole and Stephen Taylor.
I also wanted to make mention of some electrical apprenticeship level 3 awards. We actually have ceremonies throughout the year as our apprentices finish. It was a tradition that was started, 4 or 5 years or 6 years ago, certainly before these awards started. And these are awards of excellence that are handed out at individual ceremonies. And if you are here, and some of you may be here, if you would stand or wave when I do call your name. Awards of excellence have been given out earlier to Randy Snyder, Thomas Van Grotto, Dale Brubacher, Brandon Martin, Gord Campbell, and certainly a number of sponsors of those awards include Nelson Publishing, and I did see Karen here, and Fluke Industries, Ideal Industries, and Gary Electric are major sponsors of those awards. Some of the other award winners of Chair's Cup Awards from the CNM and Industrial Electrician Group that have also won awards during the year: Jason Reislerdam, Jeremy Gerber, Brian Weber, Jeremy Bareas, and Henry Albrook. And if you happen to be here, if you could stand up, you can be recognized. But again, I know my electrical apprentices are in high demand right now and are certainly likely working. So. The next awards are the following 7 awards are presented to outstanding students in the Industrial Maintenance Mechanic and Millwright Post-Secondary Apprenticeship Program. Donors include Bullet Trade Services, Elite Machine and Gear, Flow Components Limited, Guelph Tool Inc., Process Group, and Roberts Onsite. The first award is the Industrial Maintenance Mechanic Millwright Program Advisory Committee Top Student Academic Award. Program Industrial Maintenance Mechanic presented by Yvonne Brulette of Roberts Onsite, and the recipient, Kevin Berry. We'll ask Yvonne to stay on stage. The next award is the Industrial Maintenance Mechanical Millwright PAC Student Mentorship Award, Program Industrial Maintenance Mechanic, and the recipient is John Johnson. The next award is the Industrial Maintenance Mechanic Millwright PAC Top Student Academic Award in the Mechanical Techniques Millwright Co-op program. The recipient is Stephen Sinke. And the next award in Industrial Maintenance Mechanic Millwright PAC Second Place Student Academic Award in the Mechanical Techniques Millwright Co-op program is awarded to Matthew Sitters. Apprenticeship training is all about mentoring, and the next mentorship award, unfortunately the recipient, Brad Horton, is unable to be with us today, but we will ask Yvonne to present to Stephen on his behalf. The next Industrial Maintenance Mechanic Millwright PAC Level 3 Industrial Maintenance Mechanic Apprentice Top Student Academic Block Release Award, and from the Millwright Apprenticeship Level 3, the recipient is Joshua LaLuce, and Joshua is unable to be here today, and so Stephen will accept on his behalf. And the next Industrial Maintenance Millwright PAC Level 3 Apprentice Award Top Academic Day Release Award goes to Chris Harris. Hi. Thank you. The next is the Commitment to Academic Achievement and Leadership Award. The donor is Charles Jones Industrial, so it will be presented by Dave Orsini. And the program is the Metal Fabricator Apprenticeship Program. The recipient, John Shaw. John is unable to be with us today, so Stephen will accept on his behalf. I'm going to ask Luis Garcia to come on stage. Luis is a fellow chair in the food processing industry, and it's under the industrial group. The next, it's the Grand River Foods Justo Ortego Endowed Memorial Bursary. This award is presented by a student currently registered in the Food Processing Technician Co-op program within the Institute of Food Processing Technologies. Donor is Grand River Foods. Presented by Steve Hansen, and the recipient is Sherry Lynn Johnston. And that ends the Industrial Awards category, so congratulations to all of those recipients. I'm now going to ask Diane Kudney. She's the Chair of Hospitality and Culinary Services. And certainly we also have apprentices in early childhood education and developmental service worker, and we also have cook apprentices. So we're going to ask Diane to come on stage. And the donor, this is the Cook One Apprenticeship Achievement Award. The donor is Waterloo Regional Chefs Association. It's going to be presented by our own chef, Philippe Savaria. And the recipient is Ben Weir. We're going to work on getting more of these other apprentices up here next year.
Next, we have the Diomatic Tool and Machine Award. Bursary, pardon me. This entrance bursary is presented to a student in the Mechanical Technician, Tool and Die, Toolmaker Co-op, or General Machinist Co-op programs. They must have access support services available at the college. They must have demonstrated dedication and effort to their studies and demonstrated a good work ethic as outlined in the co-op placement report. It'll be presented by Jerry Stein, and the recipient is Joshua Castle. Next, we'd like to recognize recipients of the Jerry Electric Supply Academic Grant, and there are 2 of them each year. And these go to students in the Electrical Technician Industrial and Electrical Technician Industrial Co-op programs, donated by Jerry Electric. The recipients this year are Andres Lazia and Lianping Tan. These awards were presented earlier in the year, actually, and neither student, unfortunately, was able to be with us today, so Greg will accept on their behalf. And now we have the Canadian Concrete Masonry Producers Association entrance bursaries. The successful candidates must be registered as a full-time student in the Masonry Fundamentals program and have obtained a highest overall average based on marks from their last year of high school. We're just recognizing the fact that the bursary is set up at this point. There will be 9 recipients selected prior to September of 2012, and those folks will receive their bursaries as they enter their program next September. And I believe that's it for the awards. Not bad, not an Academy Award experience whatsoever. Next, I'd like to call on our president, John Tibbetts, to come up and make a few comments. It's incredibly important to have strong faculty, good resources, great buildings, great students. Those are all really important components. But the other component that's real important at the college here is the support of the senior folks that have the vision around building trades and apprenticeship at this college, and John certainly leads the charge on all those. So I'm very, very pleased to introduce John Tibbetts, our president.
Okay. Thanks very much, Steve. I'm not going to spend much time congratulating the students. I'm just going to say congratulations. I mean, we're really proud of you. You've been recognized today, but I want to spend time on 2 other areas. One, thanking the faculty and staff here. Obviously, every college gets equipment and gets funding from governments, but you would be surprised how much additional work has gone into these facilities on the part of faculty and staff. So I want to thank them in particular. But the most time I want to spend today, and I know the problem when you thank some individuals is there's always someone out there that says, gee, you know, I did some good things too. So I'm going to start off by saying thank you to all the employers, because I think the students, you really need to realize that all these awards are basically due to the generosity of people out there who decided they want to give back and support you, and I think that's very important. But I want to recognize a few more as examples, because I know there's a lot of people out here, and a lot of people have done an awful lot. But let me start giving you a few examples. You know, there's Dick Kapler here. Dick's about 28 years of age here, but I'm just kidding. But he started his own masonry company, and when we built the masonry center, we needed someone to manage the project. Now, he's retired. You know, what most of us doing when we're retired, we're watching Young and the Restless, we're sitting at home relaxing. He spent, how many? 8 months, 9 months, a year, managing that project I mean, he'd be here at 7 in the morning. That's the kind of thing. I mean, how do you recognize that? I mean, it's a phenomenal achievement. Plus, he's here giving out an award. I look at Dave Walden and Don Marks. Without these gentlemen, there wouldn't be this roofing center. I mean, they put a tremendous amount into it. The Grand River Foods gentleman, Steve, the president of that of Grand River Foods, with his vision and his effort, we built a Institute of Food Processing on the Cambridge campus. And I look at Gail Smith and the effort she's done in Skills Canada. So I apologize to everyone else I didn't thank. I'm not saying these are the only people that are worth, but you don't want to spend the day here with me. But I just want you to know, you have no idea, I think, as students and the general public understand the kind of partnerships and the kind of involvement and support we get from industry. And it's really unbelievable. And Dave reminds me, because when you're in my office, you know, you just hear a lot of stuff all the time, and every so often you got to stop and look out there and say, yeah, it's really going well. If you look at this site, 10 years ago, this was a high school, and, you know, there's a few programs here. It's turned into, I'd say, one of the construction trade centers in Ontario, and it will continue to grow. So I don't want to spend a lot of time, but I want to thank all the industry partners, I mean, whether it's scholarships. There's other things. There's program advisory committees, people putting in their time, et cetera. But absolutely, these aren't just words. Without the support of the employer community, this college would not be where it is. And I think, honestly, in the construction trades and the other trades areas, not only are we one of the largest trades colleges in Ontario, but I'd say we are right there at the top and offering a high-quality education. So once again, thank you to the students for your contribution, and congratulations, and our staff, and in particular the employer community. Thank you very much for making us what we are. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Next, I'd like to call on Mr. Terry Harkness. Terry has been in the heavy equipment industry for 25 years. He started as an apprentice on the shop floor at Toromont Cat and has held a variety of other roles at Toromont, including journeyman truck coach technician, service training instructor, product support manager, and he's currently the corporate service operations manager at Toromont. Terry's participated as a member in the Heavy Equipment Technician Consortium Committee at Conestoga for many years, including the role of vice chair on that particular committee. Terry's been instrumental in partnering with educational partners, and I know there are many high schools and colleges that are the benefactor of Terry's time, and he has been very instrumental in promoting opportunities for skilled trades to young people. Terry absolutely exemplifies what a person can do when they start with a good, strong technical foundation and have an amazing career path beyond that. I think in Ontario today, if you're involved in a skilled trade, and I'm speaking to the students here now, you're starting down that road. I think Terry is an amazing model of and exemplifies the fact that the sky's the limit. The potential for your career is really as broad as your imagination can possibly envision. So I'd really like to welcome Terry this morning. He's here to make remarks on behalf of employers. Terry Harkness.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of all the employers in the audience, I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you for the apprentices and congratulations to the award winners. Also thank the parents for the support of the apprentices and those entering the trade. You certainly do represent the future of the trade. By this time in the educational process and in the apprenticeship portions that you've served, you may have come to a realization that apprenticeship is about more than just building foundations, fixing trucks, welding equipment, machining parts. Apprenticeship is a very broad topic, and with that topic there becomes some responsibility, which I'm going to talk to you about today, as well as a great opportunity. As Stephen mentioned, in apprenticeship and trades, the trades actually form, in my mind, a brilliant foundation, a very strong foundation to a lifelong career. Years ago, when I was in high school, not quite knowing which way I wanted to go, college, trade, university, there was a tipping point. And it's important to pause for a second and reflect in the audience today on what that tipping point was that made you decide to become a tradesperson. And for all of you who are entering the trade, it's important to reflect back because you are the future of this industry and you may be responsible for a tipping point of the future generations of tradespeople. For those like myself who came through the industry, starting with a strong foundation on the shop floor and then moving up through, I really do believe in the comment about tipping point. And I'll just tell you a quick story about how that happened. Again, going back to when I was in high school, not specifically knowing which way I wanted to go, I decided one day, and I was in grade 12, to do a cold call on the Caterpillar dealership. At the time it was called Crothers Cat. And I know some in the audience here about my age with some tenure can tell a similar story. But I went into reception and I said, I'm not sure what I want to do with a career, but I was wondering if I could talk to somebody who could maybe give me some guidance. So they called a training instructor down from the training department. He took me for a coffee, sat down, and spent an hour. And he said, let me tell you all about the trades. Here's what you can expect. Here's the way you start into a trade. Here are your various options. Go direct into a trade seeking an apprenticeship with an employer, or you could go to trade school first. You do like a MAP 32 or a MAP 40 program at the time, or you could simply go to a trade-related college program, 1 or 2 years, which would ready you for various entry points, if you will, to the trade. But from that 1-hour conversation that tradesperson took, that time he gave me, I made the choice, went to a college program, entered into the trade, and then set forth into a career, which has been very rewarding. And it's important to recognize that we have an obligation as tradespeople. When somebody asks us for advice, when somebody looks to us for guidance on, what's the trade really like, what's it all about, I believe we owe it back to the industry and the trade community, whichever industry we're in, to take that quality time with the young people or the next generation and share what the industry is really like. And by that I mean share the positive stories. In our industry, so often we see people with tenure maybe having a bad day, and somebody says, what do you think about your trade? And all they do, they want to grumble about working out in the hot sun. They want to grumble about being greasy and in coveralls or what have you. But generally, as you stand back and reflect on the trade, there's way more positive stories than there is negative stories out there. And I'd like to suggest, if you've got a negative story to tell about your trade, keep it to yourself. If you've got a positive story to tell about your trade, tell everybody. Communicate widely and communicate proudly about the trade you're involved in. Dick mentioned while we were sitting there that years ago somebody spent time with him to talk about the trade that he was involved with in masonry, and he feels an obligation back to the next generation and the future generations to share that positive story. So that's one thing I'd like to challenge everybody with today in the audience, is to share a positive story, because trades certainly are an area in Ontario where we have a need all across the different industrial sectors, and it's important that we continue to feed this pipeline. Is that a commitment I could ask for from the crowd, the new tradespeople? Makes some sense? Okay, the other thing I'd like to talk about is how you set up a resume. And in many cases, when we look at the academic side of the business, resumes are set forth by the intellectual things that we do in the workplace that we can put together on a resume to potentially further our career. In a trade, our resume consists of the good quality work we turn out with these tools, our hands. So I'd like to challenge everybody as you leave here to continually reflect upon doing a quality job in the trade that you've chosen. That may mean laying a quality foundation wall with masonry. It may mean fixing a machine. It may mean wiring a house or doing some other industrial electrical work. We do have pressures in this industry to sometimes cut corners. Sometimes when people cut corners, we read an article in a newspaper about it. Generally, there's something that goes wrong or unravels. God forbid it's a safety issue. A lot of times when we get involved in what we call failure analysis in my industry, or postmortems in other industries, the root cause of accidents is related to cutting corners. If you're in the trade and if you get pressures to cut corners, don't. At the end of the day, it's your name going on whatever it is that you're building or constructing. So with that, let's move into a quick conversation about safety. Safety in all our industries is absolutely number one. I always, it used to make me chuckle when I shook hands with a machinist who was more senior than me, because I'd always shake a hand with a palm and a limited number of fingers. And in the old days, it was kind of accepted that if you're in the machinist trade, now and then you would bite off the end of a finger, or you would have some accidents now and then. But the more safety takes a precedent in our trade, the more I recognize, and my peers in this audience, those of us who sit on the advisory committees, the more we recognize that pretty well everything out there is absolutely preventable. So when it comes to safety, I'd like to depart with that specific message. No job has priority over safety. If you can't do it safely, don't do it. If you have an opportunity to see an unsafe act about to be performed and you can do something about it, step up and do something about it. I've seen personal cases where people have stood by as an observer and watched somebody doing an unsafe act that resulted in injury. Later on, the individual feels very bad because they could have and should have done something about that. So in the industry, we need to look out for ourselves. We need to go home healthy and safe. And most importantly as well, we need to look out for our peers and our coworkers. So with that, I'd like to once again congratulate everybody. Thank you on behalf of the employers. And one last thing too, I also would like to have a round of applause for the faculty of Conestoga College. Good teachers are required. So thank you very much and enjoy your career.
At this time, I'd like to recognize some employers. Each year, Ontario honors exceptional employers for their commitment to apprenticeship training. and 4 winners are selected from the 16 nominees that come forward. And those folks are selected by a panel of apprenticeship experts from different sectors, including labor organizations, the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, and community colleges. And today I'd like to recognize the following who are recent recipients and finalists in that award arena. Can I ask the following people just to stand? For the Ontario Ministers Awards for Apprenticeship Training in 2011, Flow Components was one of the recipients. Mike Deckard is here today. George and Amundsen Limited was a recipient. Luke, I think, is here. Luke George. Already standing. BLM Transportation Group was a finalist. And is Claude here? Wasn't able to be here. Okay, in 2010, All Truck International Truck Centers, All Truck Ideal Lease Center was a finalist, and I'm sure I saw Ryan Kirby here. And Malul Blamey Construction Limited was a finalist, and I believe Tim Henhofer is here. Tim is here. And the following individuals have also received Conestoga College Alumni of Distinction Awards in Trades and Apprenticeship. Mike Deckard was already standing. Glenn Spencer is not attending, but received an award. And Don Gosen. Is Don here? No. Don won an Alumni of Distinction and also won a Minister's Award in 2006. I think those are amazing achievements for those employers. Next, I have the pleasure of asking Gail Smith to come forward and say a few words. Gail is the Executive Director for Skills Canada Ontario, and I have known Gail for actually quite a few years now already. I knew her from 2 years. Yeah, okay, so I've known her for a little while. First time I met her, I was amazed at the passion that she had for the Skills Canada and the Ontario competition, and that hasn't diminished any at all. Gail is basically single-handedly responsible for building a team and building an amazing trades competition event, and if anyone in the room hasn't seen that event, it happens every May in Waterloo, and I would strongly recommend it. Gail.
Thank you. So if you want to take out your calendars, May 7th, 2013 will be the next Ontario Technological Skills Competition, and you do not want to miss it. It is the most incredible event you'll ever see. Over 1,900 students from across Ontario will compete in over 63 different skilled trade and technology contest areas. We take over 370,000 square feet at Rim Park in Waterloo, and every year we're able to do what we do thanks to the leadership of Dr. Tibbetts and Conestoga College. We could not do it without them. Thank you, John. Terry was talking about positive stories, and I have a positive story that I want to share with you. In 2010, we hosted the Ontario Technological Skills Competition, again at the beginning of May, and there was a student from Conestoga College in cabinet making who competed, Jonathan Sinke. Jonathan Sinke is a very talented young man, and he won a gold medal at the Ontario competition. A couple of days later, he was part of Team Ontario, and he competed at the National Skills Competition in cabinet making, and again, he won a gold medal. And that meant he became a member of Team Canada, which meant that he was going to represent not only Conestoga College, not only the province, but Canada at a World Skills Competition in London, England in October 2011. And though Dr. Tibbetts may not want to brag, I want to brag. That young man won a bronze medal at an international competition. Congratulations, Conestoga College. And so this year at the competition, we had 29 students compete from Conestoga College. 18 of them won medals, 5 gold, 7 silver, and 6 bronze. 6 of those students advanced to the National Skills Competition in Edmonton, and 2 of those students received silver medals. 1 silver medal was in cabinet making, and the other was in electronics. But most exciting news, and something that I want you to watch very closely, is that 2 students from Conestoga College have made it to Team Canada, and they'll be representing Conestoga College, their province in Canada, in Germany in 2013. And those students are Dustin Sherrard in cabinet making and Jonathan Blank in electronics. Again, congratulations, and again, thank you for all you do for Skills Canada Ontario.
Thanks, Gail. Next, I'm going to ask Greg to come up and make a few comments on behalf of the chairs, himself and myself.
Yes, on behalf of Steve and I, just see where I am on the agenda. We're almost done, and certainly I wanted to put one more plug in for the Chairs Cup, the golf tournament. If you would like to sponsor, would like to play, certainly register before June 8th and win a couple of chairs. And there is a table set up over there, and some of the faculty would be happy to help you out. Certainly I want to thank the generosity. Not only does the industry give us a number of monetary awards and let us have scholarships and bursaries and that, but we live in a tremendous community of support in giving. The only way that we can really give bona fide training in trades and apprenticeship and post-secondary and in apprentices is through the generosity of donations of materials and vehicles and whatever to our programs. Certainly we are grant funded and apprenticeship funded, but certainly in order to train correctly, we need to stay modern, we need to go through materials, and we live in a community that is very supportive, not only from our local area, but literally from across Canada and Ontario. So that is greatly appreciated, and we can't go through all of those sponsors of equipment. I want to acknowledge the faculty, certainly, and staff. Without them, none of this would be possible. Certainly, all of the people who helped Brenda and Kristen, who were the leaders in putting this together, that likely involved 50 to 60 faculty, staff, and Stephen and I just show up and read what we're told to read. And so we certainly appreciate all of our folks that are here today. And Conestoga's team from Guelph brought their Mustang here, and we always enjoy seeing it. And I think season is just starting, and so we will wish them continued success. I encourage you to get out and see the races. You're likely aware, and certainly if you're on some of our advisory committees, a number of events happen at the college, Waterloo, Doon, and this college throughout the year, and too numerous to mention. But we certainly, between Tech and Tech Days, and certainly the Brick Lane 500 and all of the industry days that we have and guest speakers that the faculty arrange to come in, it certainly makes for a vibrant place to work, exciting for our students, and instrumental in Conestoga's reputation in Ontario and across Canada. Closing remarks, I'm going to leave to Stephen. But thanks again to everyone, and enjoy the barbecue coming up in literally 1 to 2 minutes. So, Stephen?
I think I only have 2 minutes to finish up. Again, I would like to add my thanks to Greg's. We have tremendous faculty here at the college, and of course, we can't deliver top-notch programs without top-notch faculty, and that's all there is to it. I think we have the best team in the province, and I haven't found anybody that argue with me on that yet. I'd also like to thank some of the folks that have arranged. Guelph campus is on the eastern frontier, but we like to be represented, so we have actually some equipment parked around outside. Representing, holding up the truck coach program and heavy equipment, those sorts of things. So really want to appreciate or recognize the employers that were instrumental in having those vehicles parked around, and I think the Skyjack here as well. I'd also like to thank the media and design students. We have a few students around this morning or this afternoon that are videoing this particular event, and they're going to cook it down to a quick video that we're going to be putting up on our website, so watch for that in the near future. in terms of the networking barbecue, I believe we're going to open that door very shortly to my right, and the barbecue and the food is going to happen out there. Please stay and enjoy the barbecue. I would like to thank Grand River Foods for the generous donation of the food for the barbecue. I'd also like to thank our cook apprentice level 1 students who have worked very hard to prepare desserts for today's barbecue. So without any further ado, I would like to thank you all very much for being here. Please stay and enjoy the barbecue and network. And one last time, congratulations to all the recipients. Well done.